My final project is on the 15-minute city. Before we start, I want to explore the problem with our cities today. Cities rely on car-dependent transportation systems. This pushes out other forms of transportation like walking, cycling, and public transportation. It is supported by the automobile industry, car infrastructure, car culture, and urban sprawl. We can see the domination of car infrastructure in San Bernardino, California, where parking lots take up 49% of their land space. Car dependency is harmful to the environment. It is responsible for 23% of CO2 emissions and 49% of the world's oil consumption. It is harmful to the people. It causes 1 out of 34 annual global deaths. Air, noise, and light pollution negatively impacts people's health, and it isolates people who don't have cars from necessary services. So, what are 15-minute cities? This is a concept revitalized by urbanist Carlos Moreno to solve problems of cities today. There are 8 core tenets to the 15-minute city. Proximity, which means amenities are nearby and jobs are localized. This reduces commute times, which allows people more free time. Density, in which high population density promotes this localization. Diversity, which refers to having different ethnicities and backgrounds coming together, as well as multi-use neighborhoods. Digitalization, which is utilizing smart solutions to create the city, as well as the internet for greater citizen participation. Planning spaces for humans rather than cars. Having a good public transportation system to connect to isolated neighborhoods. And finally, flexibility, which means having multi-purpose over single-function areas. This picture visualizes what a sector of a 15-minute city looks like. As you can see, the space is catered to citizens, not cars. 15-minute cities have sustainability benefits. Reduced car usage leads to lower carbon emissions. Regions become more equitable because essential spaces can be accessed by more people. There's a greater focus on energy-efficient multi-use buildings, and it boosts community health and lessens the burden on public health systems. So what can we learn from Paris? Mayor Anne Hidalgo championed this model here. In the city, they converted major congested highways to commuter paths. Residents are able to participate in neighborhood planning. Spaces are used for multiple purposes, and people live in proximity to all life-sustaining services. They also built 621 miles of cycling lanes throughout the city. This has been adopted in other cities like Melbourne, Ottawa, and Shanghai. It has been easier to implement in Paris because it was built before cars existed. However, there are some limitations in other cities. Roadblocks to consider. Is this model too idealistic for our future? First of all, everyone is different. It may be too simplistic of a view to fit the diverse needs of every city or every person. It may not be feasible in areas with rigid existing structures. And the way objectives should be met are unclear, and it doesn't address complex social and political issues. In conclusion, 15-minute cities have valuable sustainability benefits. It combats problems that car-centric cities present. There are already 154 implementations around the world. In theory, it is a good idea, but it has to be fit for specific needs. Thank you for listening.